Hello.
Is speaking.
Hello. Hi. I didn't hear a thing, Allsmile. I don't even what anybody's talking. What? I didn't hear a thing. Okay. Hello. Okay. Hello, Abdel Rahman. Sorry. Hello, Abdel Rahman.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you. Good. Thank you. Hello, Gianna. Hello, Allsmile. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. All right. Now we're really rolling here. See, this is already totally a class. This is totally a class. It's a family, in fact. It's a spiritual hoedown. Hello, I mean hoedown as it not hoe down. Anyway. All right. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Montserrat. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Jocelyn. Hello, Jose. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Alejandro. Hello, Tobias. Hello, Michaela, K. Hello, and I skipped, wait. Hello, Bria, oh, more people, sorry, 1 sec. Okay, hello, Brianna. Hello, Brian. Hello, Jasmine. Hello, Emily. Oh, that's okay. Hello, Mariam. Oh, and now we go to the, so that's that in the chat. Wait, there's more hellos. Don't you even, oh, what happened? Wait a minute, sorry. Hold on. Yes, okay. Hi, Michaela. Hi, Brian. Hey, and good afternoon, Alejandro. Hello, and good afternoon, Tobias. Hi, Gianna. Hi, and good afternoon, Montserrat. Oh, okay, cool. All right, I'm laughing mine off also. Okay, I think I even, all right, anyway. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Jose. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Brianna. Hi, Emily. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Miriam. All right, cool. No, I'm glad you're all here. Again, if I'm still mispronouncing your name, I do apologize. And I want to make jokes about many things, but not that. So please tell me in the direct chat or anywhere if I'm not doing your name right. Wait, and someone else just came. Wait, someone's in the waiting room. I know. This is usually around this. People are like, my friend is in the waiting room. He's taking it personally. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. Hang on one, bear with, so there are actually some things happening in the direct chat already. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right, excellent. If I didn't say hello, so I think I've said hello to ever. Oh, hello, Anthony. I don't think I said, maybe I did. I did. Okay. All right. So hello, everybody. And if you just walked in, hello. And again, just remember, everybody, when I do this hello thing, it's to be whatever. It is not a way of, it's not meant to be a way to single anybody out or embarrass anybody or to do weird attendance or anything. But hello to everybody who's here. Oh, and more people are coming. Okay, still more people coming. So we'll start in a second. We'll start in a second. Actually, sorry, more people are coming. If I didn't say hello to you, and remember, it even counts as participation, even just to say hello. I totally appreciate that you guys are saying hello and all that. But if you just walked in, if you even just write hello in the chat or anything, that totally counts as participation. Also, it'll just remind me if I missed someone, I think who just wanted to, Okay, but I think I see everybody. Oh yes, hello, hello, Jada. I think it's Jada. I think I might still be mispronouncing it. And hello, Euban. Okay, okay, great to see you. Okay, and okay, so what we're gonna do in a minute. So most of you are already ahead of me, which is great. That is to say, most of you have turned in some things, a bunch of things already. And if you haven't gotten back certain things from me yet, such as if you have not gotten back a version of homework one number line, that does not mean you didn't do it or that I don't see it. It's my fault, not yours. And it's definitely not personal. Same thing with the other two things that we're going to get to soon, the average speed and the train of thought. I might even read out names in a moment, or I might not. But rest assured, if you didn't get it back yet, you're not doing anything wrong. I'm already falling behind. What we're going to do for the most of today is continue to go over. We're going to continue to go over sheet one, homework one number line. As you might remember from last class, all of my talking for the entire last class, we only got to going over question one of it, even though I think for most of you, that was a fairly straightforward question. And most of you probably got, I think, most of you got the answer very fast, like in your head and just wrote it down. And I totally get that. And I totally get that most of you want me to start speeding up already. And believe me, it will speed up a little bit each period. I mean, each class period. We will get faster and faster. We're eventually going to be moving fast enough that many of you will wish we were moving slower, but it is a steady ramp up kind of thing. We're trying to build up a lot of systems right now for all of you and get things in place for physics class and for physics in general, so that things can get easier and easier as we go, and so that you can get more and more capable of doing things on your own, and I can go over more and more material in a shorter period of time. Again, in other words, for those of you who are bored, I apologize, but it will get more snappy. And also I want to make it clear, and I know I'm defensive about this, I'm always, because I know this is what I do. I also want to make it clear that all the systems that we're putting in place for these few first classes, all the systems that we're trying to put in place, all the ways I'm explaining how homework works or how to do homework and stuff, it's all also true for Physics 204. If you're going to take Physics 204 at John Jay, then all of this works the same. The grading works the same, all that kind of stuff. And you'll probably have me. So anything that we're trying to figure out now how it works is an investment into 2 semesters, if that helps. All at the same time, let me say, so again, we spent a long time just going over question one of homework one last time, because I was using question one as an example to show you all the steps that I expect everybody to do from here on in with all homework problems and exam problems. I'm asking you to do a 5-step method of showing your work. And for some of you right now, it's like totally annoying to have to break down what you know into 5 steps. For some of you right now, you already know the answers, and it seems like I'm giving you extra work and taking extra time in class. I just want to acknowledge, I know that's true. I don't think you'll regret it forever. I think you'll be okay with it, but I do understand that right now I'm spending a lot of time to give a whole method of 5 steps that I want you to do that is particularly becomes necessary once problems become more difficult. So today I'm going to continue to use the method. Like, we're going to go faster and faster. Like I say, today we're going to get back to homework one. We're going to get to question 2. I'm going to start solving question 2 and then question 3. I'm going to keep using the method. I'm going to keep writing down on the board everything that I expect you to write down for your homework when you turn it into me. In fact, here, let me just turn the pen. Let me start. Like I'm going to question 2 now of homework 1. What was I going to say? So I am assuming in the background that you know this 5-step method that I explained last time, but and I'm going to assume that for today's period. But let me make it clear again, for anybody who is, we're still in the beginning of the semester. We are still in the beginning of the semester. People are still joining today, and that is totally fine. And that is nobody's fault. So there are some people that I'm going to catch them up and I'll get these back materials to them. So what I want to make clear to everybody is nobody, how can I say this? It is not too late for anybody in this room. It is not too late for anybody in this room to take this weekend and figure out what's going on and still turn in best attempts at the first couple of homeworks. It's totally fine. And again, those of you who have already turned in homework, you may still find that you want to correct it or return it in after today. Totally fine. Like everybody's still in a position to get all the points on all the homeworks without a problem. And anybody that I need to explain things to more about how it works, I will right after class. The one thing for those of you who were here the last couple of days and do know what I'm saying, I just note one thing in the game turn participation home. Wait, someone else is here. Sorry, someone else is joining. Or two people are joining. Sorry, hold on one second. Okay, so I'm about to say something that will be a little bit more clear to some of you than to others, but you know, with the participation game thing, which I think most of you are getting, like that after every class, you take 2 minutes to just jot down one little way in which you participated and you just hand that into the game turn portal before midnight and you get 5 points for that. Most of you have been doing that. Most of you are getting the points. It's good. It is technically optional, but it's a very helpful suggested thing to do. But you'll notice again that there's other portals. There's other game participation game portals open, and they're all to encourage you to double dip, triple dip, quadruple dip. That is, anytime you participate in any way that any of the portals apply to, submit it in any and all of the portals that it applies. You can submit the same thing in any and all of the portals that apply, such as if right now one of you said something to help another colleague right now, right? You could submit tonight for just the 5 points. You could say, today I said something out loud to help my friend who didn't understand Google Classroom or something. And you could submit that in the regular game turn for 5 points. You could take the exact same document and submit it in the portal that says multiplayer co-op. Anytime you're helping someone else in a visible, clear way, you could submit it into that. And in the portal that says that's about using your voice, the one that's called Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Chat, because if you used your voice, you could submit that one thing into those 3 portals and get all those points for that. Just a reminder of that idea. So one of those extra portals just opened up this morning, an extra one that you can do for 35 points. This is big. It's totally optional, but with the 5-step method for solving problems that I explained last time, if you make your own sheet of that, like if you make your own user manual, if you explain the 5-step method, perhaps make up your own original example for explaining it, or if you can find another clear way, but if you just explain the 5 steps in a sheet that could be given to any other student to help that student, maybe even a new student who just joined or a student in a future generation, if you clearly outline the 5-step method for solving problems that we've been talking about, and you submit that by this Monday, that's 35 points. I mean, that's pretty big. That's a lot of points for something like that. And there's no other than that, there's no new homework due this Monday. Everything else is time for you to catch up and me to catch up to turn things back. Because again, I'm going to get back finally to the homework now that we're going over, and you're going to see, I'm going to go, yes, a little bit faster than last time, but even by the end of today, I will not be done with going over homework 1. I'm telling you that right now. So I won't even be up to homework 2 or 3. I will not be done by homework 1 by the end of today. We're just going to go at the pace we're going. So if you're on top of things, you haven't done anything new. If you're on top of things, you're not behind. You don't have anything new to do for this Monday. So please, I encourage you for 35 points, type up a sheet that explains the 5-step problem solving method, the one that we're going to use from now on. Okay, that's it. And again, oh, cool. Oh, good. Wait, I'm looking in the chat. Hold on a second. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I'm looking in the chat and there's things that. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Wait, There's a question from Jasmine in here. It's such a great question. And I'm sorry because somebody emailed me this question this weekend and I started answering it, but I was like, or not this weekend, last night. And I started answering and then something happened and I never answered the email. Oh, Ashley, good. Because actually I was confused by this. I knew there was a way, but okay. So first of all, pause. Thank you, chat. I'm hoping you can all see the chat. You can all see the chat, right? Or the public chat. I mean, okay. Jasmine's question is a very good one. And someone emailed me. It might have even been Jasmine. I'm not trying to. So thank you, whoever. And I apologize. I didn't finish. But Ashley's answer is so helpful. That explains so much. Yeah, I didn't even understand. Even I did not understand that. And yes, we can see. Okay, great. Thank you, John. So just to be clear again, and again, I don't want to be repetitive, but I do. I want to be clear as possible. Just to be clear, like Ashley, for example, but also, Jasmine, like all these people that just typed in the chat. So tonight before midnight on game turn 3, they could just screenshot that, right? And they'll just say like, I engaged in a conversation about how to resubmit homework. I'm sorry, about how to add, how to add new uploads to homework. I engaged in that conversation today. But like, also they can totally submit this to multiplayer co-op. Like all of them can. The person who asked the question can. The person who answered the question can submit the same entry into the multiplayer co-op portal for more points. And also like for example, Jasmine can also double dip that into the portal that says closing the conversational path. I know this is like really weird. One of the reasons I keep explaining this is because I know it's a somewhat unusual system. Maybe it even seems silly to you, but I really want to, but I find it works very well, I think. I think students like it once I get used to it. Because like, for example, Jasmine, after she asked the question, then Ashley answered it. And then Jasmine said, okay, thanks. Like that's a huge communication event for Jasmine. I mean, it's super helpful that Ashley answered it. It's super helpful to me because now I get it. But then for Jasmine to say like, yeah, that worked for me. Like, thank you. Like, I see you like that. That actually also could mean that we could go on, which as you can see, I always need to be told. So she could submit that 3 times. She could submit that in the portal that says closing a conversational path because she like closed a conversational path. Also, though, please know, thanks to this answer, if it's not clear to everybody, what Ashley is telling everybody, and this is actually very important because I'm saying over and over, you guys can keep resubmitting your homeworks. You can keep resubmitting them until you get the goat. Yes, Ashley's a goat. I still don't get that goat thing, but I sort of do. I am telling you all that nobody is too late to get a perfect score on any of these homeworks yet. Nobody. I don't care if you just joined the class today, or if you handed in the homework on the very first day, but it was a disaster, like you got it all wrong or something, like you can resubmit these things until you get a perfect score. But what Ashley's saying, or is it Ashley? One person is saying in the chat is, right, the way to resubmit is like you unsubmit first, then put in both the attachments, your old homework and your new. And that's a very important, first of all, technical piece of advice that she's saying, that you have to unsubmit. Then you put in as many attachments as you want. But it's also important to me because yes, if you ever add more, I want to see the whole thing. Even if you write a note that says, please, I'm so embarrassed by my first homework. Please don't even grade it. Just grade my last one. Fine. Thank you for saving me the trouble. But it's good for you and me to see you're that hardworking. You've put in 3 revisions or 2 revisions. Like you don't ever want to erase your old work or hide it for 1,000 reasons, especially as a scientist. You don't, if you put work into something, leave it. Even if you don't want me to look at it, just leave it so I see that it exists. Okay, so anyway, so that's very good advice from Ashley and Jasmine and everybody. I will get going in a second, but I much prefer to respond to what you guys are saying than for me just to talk. Again, I know there are people that are here today for the first time. Hopefully they understand some of what I'm saying, but even in fact, I'm going to just say in private chat, anybody who's here for the first time today, in private chat, could you just acknowledge to me that, just like, let me know that you got my private chat or that you know what's going on, kind of, even if you don't know perfectly, it's not too late. All will be revealed. But now, okay, sorry. So now I'm looking in the chat again, but I will get back. Sorry. Yeah. So Gianna, right. So on Gianna's question, also a great question. Every time we resubmit, can we put in on the same? No, every time you resubmit, I would prefer a new document, but I would just prefer them all to be there. And again, you can tell me, you can make it clear through file names or through a comment, like which is the newest document. You can totally say to me, please don't look at my old documents. I mean, we should talk about that, but I get that. But yes, I would like a separate document for every new revision or new upload or whatever. Yes, I would, please. But that also, I was going to say this a second ago, that also means like on these game portals, I mean, everything we're talking about right now applies to all homework. The really heavy duty problem solving exam practice quantitative homework that we're about to start going back over in a moment, but it also applies to all the participation game turns. Either way, like please note with the game turns, like say you're showing video today, which some of you are right now, none of you has to.
Excuse me, Professor. There's someone in the waiting room right now.
Thank you. I did not see that. You're right. Usually I do, but I did not. Okay. Thank you so much. Wait, and who just said that? Sorry, who said that? Just so.
Jada.
Data. So again, so thank you. And not to embarrass anybody, but can I just point out that what Jada just did? You realize she could submit that like 4 times now. She could submit that for multiplayer co-op because she just helped a colleague. She could submit it to using voice. I think that portal is called Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Chat. Like some of the portal names are stupid. You have to read the instructions. But she could submit that exact thing to multiplayer co-op, to Speak Now or Forever Hold Your Chat because she actually used her voice. She's also using video right now, so she could submit that to the video portal and and then also for her just regular tonight's turn. I'm not trying to embarrass her. I'm trying to like compliment her and say like, and please notice, she even had the guts to turn off her mic. I mean, turn off mute and like jump in. Like that is not an interruption. That took guts. It might have felt weird to her, or maybe you can't do it in other class, but I need that. You can tell I need that. Like, cause I'll just keep going. If not, that was like a good thing. You should all feel free to do that type of thing. You don't even have to be on mute unless you have a dog barking in the background or whatever, like for real. Plus now I have a better idea of how to pronounce her name. Now I'm going to say Jada. Because she said that, I can hear her voice saying her name in my mind now. I'll probably get her name wrong less now just because of that. Like I think. So that's like a good thing. Oh, but the thing I keep trying to say that I keep forgetting is if she does this again tomorrow, again, I'm just using Jada just as an example. If tomorrow she shows video again, she could submit that again in that same portal. She could put up another screenshot just by following the instructions that Jasmine and company just said a minute ago. You can just keep like every day you show video, you can submit it again and you get points every single time. I know there was one person in this class last semester who, I'm not going to say names or anything. There was one person though that literally, let me say this without exaggerating. I think she would have gotten a C- and she ended up getting a B+ just because of how intense she was about participating and tracking all of her participation, like every single day. She showed a video, she did this, she did it. Like she got so many points from doing that. And I'm saying this as praise, like that was great. It's not abuse of the system. It's like anyway, you get it. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go on. All right. So, hand up. Sorry. There's a hand up. Where's the hand? Wait, is that a hand?
Hi, Professor.
Hi. Sorry. Who's,
It's
hi.
me.
Oh,
So because of the holiday on Monday, do we see you again tomorrow? One of my teachers said we have our Monday classes tomorrow. So do we see you again?
Wait, thank you so much for asking that. Wait,
Because
okay.
I have no idea.
That's a really good question. Wait, I'm going to look that up right now.
Okay.
Oh my God. But why can I not even see who's actually asking? Wait, who? Sorry, who? Is it Kristen who's asking?
It's Kirsten, yeah.
Oh, it is Kirsten. Sorry, oh, my screen was messed. Okay, thank you, Kirsten. Okay, so first of all, you can submit for a million points. Now I'm looking in I was about to look it up, but it looks like in the chat. And all you people that are answering Kirsten, Kirsten.
Yeah.
Kirsten. Okay, I used to have a friend named Kirsten. Why can't I? Okay, but now I'll get it right because you're saying it, I think. That's a great question. It looks like in the chat. Monday classes. Okay. Okay, so it looks like what people are saying in there. Thank you, Rahman. Thank you, Rahman. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah, wait. And I better mark that down. No, and I'm sorry if your physics lab professor is wrong. I apologize on her behalf. Wait, you guys have Walters, Professor Walters, or you have Professor, wait, who do you have for lab again?
No, I have what is it, Susan, Lou?
Oh, you have Lou. Okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
If she said that and she made a mistake, I apologize. And presumably you all have this, are you all in the same labs? Did anybody write down in the chat if you don't have Professor Lou for lab? If you don't, I think you all have the same lab, right? Okay, all right. Anyway, that sounds right. I'm just double checking right now, but thank you other people that helped. 29. Oh, wow. Okay, no, I think you're right. So, oh my God, hold on. Okay, I do believe those people are right. I mean, thank you for clarifying this. And so you're saying this Monday we don't? Is this Monday the holiday? Wait a minute. I'm confused.
Because it was Labor Day, so I asked.
Oh, for this. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
okay.
this week. Yeah.
Okay, so are we, it seems like it seems like they're right, that Thursday, the 29th is the sub for that. That's what you and I are both saying. We're both like, are we on the same? Because I just learned something too from you, but are we that, so the Thursday, the 29th is instead of last Monday. That's
Yes.
right. All right, cool. Thank you so much. And thank you. And you just got 400,000 million, but you can like not study for the next 2 months now based on all the participation points you just got. Okay. Just kidding. All right. All right. Cool. So I'm going to get back now to the number line. Again, I'm using the 5. And again, for those of you, if you don't know the 5-step method that I'm talking about, there was a PDF put in the Google Classroom last time. And there's I recorded the whole class and it's on YouTube from last time. So you can watch that, blah, blah, blah. But you'll get more used to it as we go through it today. I'm going to start. Are there any other questions at all? These are good, though. Seriously, I would rather answer your questions than we're good. We're good. All right, I'm going to go. Okay, so we're on question 2 of the number line of homework 1. So question 2. So the first thing I wrote is C diagram above. Notice to the right. So that was the diagram for the whole problem. And again, it's in Google Classroom. It's in Google Classroom. All right, that was step 1. Remember, step 1 is DFP, diagram and fact pattern. Now what I'm going to do here this time is in the margin as I'm going. I'm just keeping track of what step I'm on. These are the steps of the problem solving step method, right? I'm doing it for you, like putting them in the margin. Many of you, it will turn out, will also do that. You don't have, what I'm saying is all of you have to do all 5 steps. You do, even if you think the question is really easy, all the more reason you have to show all the 5 steps because you'll need it for when the question is hard. I'm not saying you have to name the steps. Many of you do. A lot of you will on exams and homework. You'll get in the habit of just like in the margin writing, here's step 1, here's step 2. And I think that's a great idea. It helps you. It helps me. It's like keeping track. But I'm not saying you literally have to do that. I'm just saying you have to include the steps. So step 1 is DFP, diagram and fact pattern. And all I wrote, you see in black to the left, I just wrote C diagram above, perfectly sufficient. Because there's going to be a lot of questions here based on that same diagram. So I drew the diagram once and I just wrote C diagram above. That's fine. So that's step 1, DFP. Now, step 2, WIQ. What is the question? I've written down here from T equals 0 seconds to T equals 8 seconds, the total displacement equals question mark. Like that's the question, right? It's not the exact words. Oh, sorry. Good. All right. So I'm going to say this and then good question in the chat there. I'm going to get, but just note for the record, for step 2, for what is the question, I'm totally making the question clear. I didn't use the exact words from the sheet and I didn't copy and paste from the sheet and I'm not writing on the sheet. All that's very important. This is like a blue book. I mean, it's like a blue book. It's separate paper, but I'm making all the information of the question totally clear. And I'm about to get to the chat, I promise. But my job here is to make the question so clear that anybody could follow this work without actually having the original homework sheet in their hand. Two purposes of that. One, that makes this real physics. That means if I follow all these steps, then by the end, I will have actually completed a small little physics proof or a small little physics presentation. Like, this is physics that could stand on its own. You could hand this to someone in a journal or at a poster presentation at a conference, and you could hand them your homework and they, oh, sorry, do you question or if there's questions in the chat, I'm going to get the questions in 1 second. Sorry. You could just hand this, and if they know physics, they don't have to know the original homework. They could just follow it. So it elevates this from just being like an exercise to being actual independent physics. Also, though, for grading purposes, you're doing this so that I can literally grade your homework without having to look at any other sheet of paper. It'll make, usually, I apologize for last week, but usually it'll make things go a lot faster, a lot more clearly and fairly and smoothly for you if you give me all the information I need to evaluate your work without looking anywhere else. But finally, and then I'm going to stop and look in the chat. Finally, again, I just want to say there are people that I'm very much happy are here today. They maybe missed the first day of class or whatever. Maybe they don't even have the Google Classroom set up yet, so they don't even know the sheet. But this way, they can look at this and follow along, and they know exactly what we're trying to do now. The question, like, here's the situation. The guy goes back and forth on this number line. He goes to the left to this position -4 in the first 3 seconds. He goes back to, he goes to position -2 in the first 3 seconds. He goes back to position 4 in the next 2 seconds. He goes all the way to position -5 in the last 3 seconds. That's all the information. And the question is, what's his total displacement for the whole journey? So I've now made that clear in step 2, WIQ. Now I'm going to start working through the question and answering it. Right, I'm going to now do steps 3, 4, and 5. But first, there's a lot going on in the chat. So hang on a second. Sorry, the chat. Okay, good question. First of all, Abdel Rahman. I keep wanting to say, I keep wanting to say Abdel Rahman. That's not right. Abdel Rahman. Okay, Abdel Rahman, great question. Will you lose points if we don't put C answer above? You don't literally have to use those words. But what I am saying is, in every question that you ever solve from here on in, I do want an acknowledgement of each of the 5 steps. So you have to either draw a new diagram each time or draw an arrow or something pointing me to the old diagram. Like, you definitely don't have to use those 3 words, but there's got to be some acknowledgement of where I'm supposed to look for a diagram for every new question. Okay. So the real honest answer is yes, you will lose points if you don't somehow acknowledge. Same thing with next, where I wrote the question, total displacement. If this is an exam or this is homework, if you ever see on the right, if I write, even if you get the answer correct, even if you got this answer like that, which I know many of you did, believe me, I understand. Many of you just saw the answer in your mind and you just wrote it down and you got it correct. And that's good. But if you did that on a test and you saw on the right -2 WIQ, for example, I'm saying you're losing 2 because you didn't make clear what the question was first. Even if it's clear to me that the question must be clear to you if you got the right answer, I still need to know the question in order to know what it is you're answering. And same thing with diagram. So the bad news is, to all of you, the bad news is, even if you can get the correct answer, that's not good enough to get all the points. I need all 5 steps of process. That's the bad news. The good news is, what it means is, when physics starts getting a little harder, which I think it does, the good news is, even if you don't have a correct answer, you're going to get tons and tons of points. Better than that, even if you think you don't even know what to do, even when we get to questions, which we will, where you're like, I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know what's going on here, which happens to people. This is a process where you can know what kinds of things to write down to get tons of points before you even get to the point of having to figure out how to get to the answer. So the answer is yes to Abdel Rahman, but it's a very fair question. And I hope maybe you'll, in the private chat or something, acknowledge if I did answer your question. And also, I'm sorry that I keep stumbling on your name. Tell me if after my stumbles, at least I'm doing it right. A person with the name Yaverbaum should never be stumbling on anybody else's name for sure. But okay, then, oh, you can't hear me? Wait. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Can you all not hear me? I just looked at, sorry. Oh, you can hear me. Okay, wait. You do hear me. Okay, wait. Sorry, Kay, I don't know. So apparently they can't hear me. I don't know if Kay's thing is back on. Maybe private chat me if you're okay, but you can. So I'm going to stay with the chat for a moment because there's a lot happening in the chat and this is all legitimate and all of you are getting points for participation for do this. Yeah. So Sarah's question, what should you label our new submissions for homework? You could say new submission. The other thing, one easiest thing to do if you're going to submit multiple versions, one good habit, and it's kind of a research habit too, is you can always just do like .v2, like lowercase v number 2, which means version 2. And then if you do another one, you could do like .v3. And I'll tell you all, look, you could see I already am falling behind in grading. I don't want to spend my whole life like I've got other things to do in my life besides grade. So I'll always, even if you don't tell me, I'm always going to first look to grade your most recent thing. I'm just going to see that you have other stuff too, which is great. So you can, the fastest thing is to write like .v2 or .v3. And I'll know what that means. So that's really my answer is do .v2, like version 2, or .v3, .v4, okay? And I'll always look at the most recent one first. Okay, you can hear me. I'm just going through the chat. How the five? Oh, now Jada's question. See, Jada, right? Okay, no, Jada's question. Very fair. I might have mentioned this before, but that's okay. Everything I'm saying here applies, everything I'm saying about the 5-step method applies to everything from here on in except homework 3. Don't worry about it. Homework 3, train of thought. And even if you already did it or didn't do it, train of thought is like a kind of a weird, I mean, it's really awesome, but it's like a sidebar, kind of different kind of homework. You don't have to worry about this for homework. For train of thought, you do not have to worry about this method. The truth is, if I ever gave you quantitative multiple choice questions, you could still apply this. If they were problem solving multiple choice, you could, but I don't generally do that anyway. Bottom, I'll let you know if ever there's other exceptions that come up. Basically, this applies to everything except you don't have to worry about this for homework 3, train of thought. That's a very fair question. And again, if anybody wants to ever let me know in the chat, if I am answering your questions, that would be great. But okay, you can't hear me. Oh, and Miriam can't hear me either. I don't know. Oh, Abdel. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, private chat. Some can't, some can. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can do something about the microphone. I'm sorry. I mean, about the sound. Give me 1 second. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to fix. If you can hear me, great. If you hang on. Oh, no. Sorry. Oh, come on. Wait. Sorry. This is. Oh. I know what's happening, or I think I know. But I can't even. Bear with me for 1 more second. I'm sorry. All right. See if I just changed the input. Tell me if maybe that helps. If you can hear me now, I'm going to keep going through the chat and just looking. But some can't hear me. Tell me if you can hear me now, maybe. Well, of course, I'm talking very quiet now. Can you hear me now? Wait, I'm going to scroll to. You can. Oh. All right. Keep letting me know about the sound. I'm going to do one other thing. Oh, original sound. No, I don't. I'm going to try one other. It might be worse now. Just let me know if it's worse or better now. But okay. But Jada's question was very good. And I think, oh, did I say Jada? Did I mean to say that? But, oh, it was Jada. And yeah, so the 5 steps don't apply to homework 3, my bad. And if you struggle to make them apply, again, I mean, I don't want you to falsely struggle, but the bottom line, don't erase your old work. If you did something and you turned it in, if you want to turn in better things, it's great, but don't I could go off on that for, just don't erase your old work. It's never, it's like intellectual suicide. I mean, and I don't mean to be glib, but it's just so self-destructive. You work hard on something, leave it. But okay, you can't hear me, you can hear me, okay, I can hear you. Okay, up down, thank you, so can me too. Oh yeah, and the John Jay Wi-Fi lately has been, okay, I would like to get back to what I was doing because I know this is cool. Okay. All right, I'm going to assume that you can hear me now. Okay. All right. So anyway, so we did step 2. Okay. So step 2, WIQ. What's the question? The question is total displacement equals. Okay. Now, last thing about this. Eventually, this is all going to look more mathematical, for good or for bad. This is going to look less and less like English, and it's going to look more and more like equations. By the time it does look that way, it may be a relief to some of you. So even when you write the question, you might end up just writing it in an equation form, but you got to write the question. That is a place where people lose points, and it always feels very arbitrary to them. But I'm saying you got to write the question. All right, now I go to step 3. Okay, so I've written the question. The question is, what is the total displacement? So now I go to step 3, GDP, general definitions and principles. Right? That's what GDP stands for, general definitions and principles. So this is usually now this is usually going to be a triple equal sign of some kind, right? Like the question is asking, what is the total displacement for this situation? What is the total displacement undergone by this instructor for this particular 8-second journey? So what does the brain have to do in order to answer this question? Even if your brain did it super fast, what the mind has to do is it first has to go, wait, well, what does displacement mean in the first place? Like, what is displacement in general? That's a triple equal sign, a definition. In general, even before this problem began, displacement, the word displacement, like the word, hold on. Yeah, the word displacement, triple equal sign, final position minus initial position. That's what it is. Now that's in English. In a minute, I'm going to show you how to do it a little bit more efficiently with mathematical symbols. But what displacement is the difference between where you are versus where you were. It's how far you were displaced in total, taking into account direction. Meaning, one last thing, displacement by definition is your final position or your position now minus wherever your position was originally. But what are positions? Positions are markings on this number line. They are measured with regard to some kind of zero, and the zero is in the center of the number line. So everything on one side of the zero we call positive. Everything on the other side of the zero we call negative. We could make whatever decision we want. We could make whatever decision we want of what's positive and what's negative. But we must make a decision, and we made it right from the beginning. In this case, the decision we made was that the right-hand side was called positive, the left-hand side is called negative. So positions include positive signs and negative signs. So when you subtract them, you're taking into account the concept of direction. And your final answer could be a positive answer or it could be a negative answer. That's the nature of displacement. Like, in other words, displacement does not mean the same thing as distance. If there's actually a physics lesson here embedded in all this, it's just that. There's distance is how much space you covered, just the raw magnitude or amount or size of raw space, not taking into account directions or positives or negatives. Displacement is literally the difference between your current position and your initial position, and it does take into account directions, positives, and negatives. All right, anyway, that's all me talking, but my step 3, notice, is the definition of displacement, the triple equal sign for what displacement is, even before I looked at the details of this problem. Okay, Now I'm about to go to step 4. I think I'm about to go to step 4. But notice how much we can write down and how many points you could lose if you don't write this down, but how many points you can get for writing all this stuff down before we've even tried to solve for anything. All we've done is kind of set up the problem. And that's 3 out of the 5 steps. Super important, because that's the thing that often people say they don't know how to do when they get to hard physics problems. They'll often say, I sort of know what's going on in class, or I sort of follow what he does in class, but then he assigns homework and I don't know how to begin. Or people will even say, I can do the physics once I get going, but I never know how to start. People say that all the time. And by the way, they mean it. They're not lying. And it happens in high school. If you took a high school physics class, people all the time will say, I kind of know what's going on once I know what's going on, and I kind of know what to do once I know what to do, but I never quite know how to begin. This is how you begin. You do these 3 things to set things up before you even start worrying about the answer. Okay, now I'm going to the next page. I think the next page might be a sidebar. Yeah, all right, so just to warn you, we've done 3. I'm still on question 2 of homework 1. Again, I'm erring on the side of being boring but clear. I mean, I'm sorry if it's really boring, but hopefully it's clear, and it will get faster. So we're still on question 2 of homework 1, but I'm doing the 5-step method, so we've just completed the 3rd step of the method. Before I go to step 4, I want to do a sidebar now. I'm going to call it a sidebar, not because it's not important. It's actually super important. It might even be more important than the stuff I was already saying. But it's a sidebar because it's me talking to you. Everything I'm about to say in this sidebar, I do want you to take notes on. I want you to know. But I'm not expecting that you would write this in your homework. If you were turning in homework, this following sidebar, you wouldn't include all this. This is me being a teacher to you right now. So here's the sidebar. In the sidebar, it's a big sidebar. It's like a 2-page sidebar. In the sidebar, we're now going to introduce some symbolic notation, some symbols. We're going to introduce some letters, characters that I'm sure you used probably in high school or other science classes, and because we're going to start converting and translating this English into math, into symbols. Okay, the symbols are just going to make it more efficient, more quick to write down. As you can see, we need all the efficiency we can get, because it's left up to me, I'm going to babble forever about God knows what, electron knows what. So we're going to start converting into symbols. You realize though, I realize we're 3 days into a physics class and you haven't seen an equation yet. Believe me, I know that. Part of the reason for that is I want you to see that these equations that we're going to start having and start using and start thinking in, equations are just symbolic abbreviations for larger ideas that are totally understandable and could have been expressed in English. Equations are just shorthand for ideas that you can hold in your mind. So don't think ever like, oh, I'm good, I get the concepts, but I'm bad at math. Or don't think, I can do the math, I get math, but I don't get the concepts of physics. People, again, say it all the time, and I don't think they're lying. I'm not criticizing if you feel that way. But I'm saying, really, if you really work with me on this, you'll see it's not math versus ideas or something. Math is just the language for expressing these ideas, and it's a more efficient language. So T stands for a point in time. A point in time. The value of T could be something like 7 seconds or 1 second or 2 seconds, and it means an instant in time. The value of T is the measurement of some point in time measured relative to 0. We'll talk about 0 in a moment. X, from now on, we're going to use to stand for some point in space, what we call a position. So an instant is a point in time. A position is a point in space. Again, X would be anywhere on this. Right now, the space that we're in is a number line. It's a one axis of space. Right now, we're in a chapter of physics called one-dimensional kinematics. Kinematics means motion. We're studying motion in one dimension. We know there's more dimensions of space in the world, but the theory is that if we understand one dimension and then we put one dimension together with another, then we'll understand all the dimensions of space. So we study them one dimension at a time, in other words. So X stands for a point in space, a position. T stands for a point in time, an instant. Then and sometimes we use Y for position, and sometimes we use Z. I mean, it depends what axis we're on, but we use letters at the end of the alphabet. Then now, here's the thing that some of you might recognize from high school or from some other class, but some of you may never have seen before. From now on, if you see X with a subscript 0 to the right of it, X sub 0, first of all, the way we read that is we read it X naught. Naught, like naughty, but no, like naught means nothing in like the Queen's English in like Great Britain. Naught means nothing. X naught is how you read that symbol, that X with the subscript 0 next to it. X naught refers to the value of X when T equals 0. Okay? It means, in other words, from now on, X sub 0 means the very first value of X, what we might call the initial, the starting position. Okay? Jump down all the way to the bottom of the page for a minute. What do I mean by T equals 0? T equals 0 is a funny idea. T equals 0 does not mean the Big Bang. I mean, it doesn't have to mean the Big Bang, and it doesn't mean the Garden of Eden. It doesn't mean the beginning of all time. T equals 0 means the beginning of time for the given experiment that we're talking about, the given situation. It means the beginning of the experiment that we're studying. In other words, what T equals 0 really means is when we started our stopwatch. It means when we started timing whatever the situation is, whatever the experiment is. So it's the instant the stopwatch started. Therefore, is there a such thing as negative time? Sure. It means any time that happened before we started the stopwatch. It doesn't come up a lot. We don't use it a lot in these things. But it's not a, T equals -7 just means 7 seconds before you started the experiment. And that's a perfectly reasonable idea, T equals -7. It's not like, that doesn't mean like going back in time or Michael J. Fox or flux capacitor or something. T equals -7 is a perfectly coherent idea. It means 7 seconds before the experiment started, but the reason it won't come up that often, you won't have a lot of data or measurements or information about T equals -7 because you hadn't started your stopwatch at that point. You haven't started paying attention. So you don't make any measurements until you start your stopwatch. That's the first measurement you make. So we don't usually have information about T equals -7, but it's a perfectly reasonable idea. But okay, so T equals 0 means when the experiment starts. X sub 0 means whatever the position is when the experiment started. And from now on, I want to tell you also, if you go back and look in the middle of this screen, like that squiggly, I have a squiggly in the middle of the screen, and it says like squiggly sub 0 triple equal sign value of squiggly. So what I'm saying there, squiggly stands for any symbol that could ever come up from here on in, any new variable, any new measurement we can make. Say, for example, squiggly could be like V for velocity, right? So from here on in, if we introduce something called velocity, if you ever have V for velocity with a 0 next to it, we would read that as V naught, and it would mean the value of V when T equals 0, the initial velocity, the initial value of velocity, okay? So from now on, when you put a subscript next to something like this, a 0 subscript, that means the value of that variable when T equals 0. So I'm still in the sidebar. I'm trying to be a teacher here on a kind of slightly different thread. I'm trying to take the work that we're doing on homework 1, and I'm trying to start giving you some symbols so we can start converting it into mathematical language and equations. So, So, therefore, with this language, from now on, instead of writing out the whole word displacement, which means position at now minus initial position, or in other words, displacement equals some final position minus some initial position, we can write now, from now on, we could just note that as x minus x naught. Notice that displacement involves two values. Displacement is an interval between 2 points. It's a segment or a separation, an interval, a region between 2 points. And a displacement is the difference between the point called x and the point called x naught. Positions themselves are just values they are precise values at precise points in time and space. Position, so x's and t's are individual precise points in space and time. Displacement is an interval between points, okay? It's x minus x naught. Now I want that from now on, if you see x minus x naught, it means displacement. Now you might think, well, isn't that just x? You might think, and people often do, isn't x naught equal to 0 always? Here's the thing I want to be clear. Like, no. Here's a difference between a triple equal sign and a double equal sign. X naught, triple equal sign, x parentheses 0. X naught, oops, someone's here, sorry. X naught means the value of x at time equals 0, like it says up here in the brown above, right? X naught means the value of x when t equals 0. That does not mean 0. But so I'm saying, by definition, x naught does not equal 0. Like, that's why it's triple equal sign with a line through it. It is not the definition of x naught to be 0. Sometimes x naught could be 0. So please note, this is the difference between a triple equal sign and a double equal sign. There are times in life when x naught double equal sign 0, like the initial position could be 0. But here, for example, in homework 1, x naught is not 0. I'm going to pause for a second, not to put anybody on the spot, but if anybody is still with me at all, and I know, again, I'm like trying to yell and get all excited just to be as animated as I can, but I know this is like deathly boring, and don't worry, soon it'll be deathly confusing. I guess that's better. But what I'm going to pause to ask anybody to see if we're together. Anybody who wants it, it's not a race, it's not a competition, but if you could put in the chat or use your voice or whatever and tell me in homework 1, in the homework we're doing right now, so that I can get off this sidebar and back to it, what is the value of x naught according to the facts of homework 1? What is the initial position, the initial value of x, or in other words, the value of x at t equals 0 in homework 1? Like, so I'm asking anybody who can put in the chat, please do, or say, and I'm telling you the value of x naught in homework 1 is not 0. It's something else. I'm even going to I'm putting this question in the chat. Oh, thank you. Oh, you guys are rocking. Oh, you guys are so, I didn't even have time to put it in. Great. Wait. Yes. Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't even say yes. I'm just going to first say, right or wrong, thank you for your participation, Sarah. Thank you, Tobias. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Gianna. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Kay. Awesome. Now, also notice, I know this is so cheesy. I know this is like physics through Romper Room. But like, I'm thanking those people. I just want to make it clear. I didn't say they were right. I'm just thanking them. Oh, interesting. Okay, and now there's some different answers in there. So I totally didn't say they were right. I'm not saying they're wrong either. Oh, okay, funny. All right, but wait, for the record, when I'm thanking everybody, I literally am thanking you for putting an answer in the chat. I don't care if it's right or wrong. I'm thanking you for like engaging and participating and having the guts to put an answer. And I don't care who was first or anything like that. That's also partly why I'm not saying if it's right, because if someone's thinking it right now, I haven't said it's right or wrong. So if you think something different, like you could still put it in or blah, blah, blah. And let me also be clear, there's a portal, right? There's a participation game portal that's literally called For Right or For Wrong. Every one of you who just put in an answer here can put it in that portal, and as many times as you want. You all just put in an answer. You had the guts to say something that is either right or it's wrong. Either way, it's gutsy, it's helpful, so submit this for points in that portal. Now, I'm going to also say, I think the answer is 4. I think you're right. So that's awesome. So good. But just for the record, and I'm not sure with Alejandro whether she was or it was a typo or what, but let's even say, let's even go with or let's just say some fictitious character. If some fictitious character put in 6 for this, Okay, so they had guts and they put in 6, and now here I'm ranting and raving about how it's 4 and that's great and everything, and I'm going to move on and use 4. Well, they might be a little embarrassed, like that, or they might just be embarrassed that everybody else put in 4 when they put in 6. Like, I don't want them to be embarrassed. Like, I think like getting through, I don't want that to stop people from putting things in. So you will notice that there's an extra port. So if they put in 6. If someone put in 6, I mean, nobody did, but if someone put in 6, first of all, they could submit it to that portal that says for right or for wrong, just period, because they put in something. But then, just so you know, or please note, there's another portal that says be wrong, be really, really wrong. The person who wrote 6 could also submit their 6 into that portal. That's a specific portal for specific points for freaking wrong answers. I'm not kidding. You get extra points if you ever have the guts to add anything to the chat or to voice or anything that turns out that somehow we turned out to be wrong, or I said it was wrong, or we just noticed it was wrong because I said everybody else was right. If you get something wrong publicly, you get extra points for that. And I'm not kidding. And I could discuss for 5 hours why I think that's a great idea. And I think some of you will benefit from that idea. And if you never use it, you never use it. But you should be willing to be wrong if you want to be a scientist. I mean, that's the simplest thing I'll say at this moment. And you'll see, if you keep paying attention to class, you'll see how often I'm wrong. And I just have to live with it. And whatever. I mean, I have a lot to say about that. But please, I want you to know, I want you to take risks. And I want you to know you get extra points for being wrong. Now, in an exam, a little trickier deal there. But here in the chat, please be wrong. Okay, I think... Okay, so the initial position on the homework was in fact 4. So now I'm going to drift away from the sidebar and go back to solving the actual question. So back to question 2. Sorry. And wait, I'm gonna take the risk here, and I don't know. This is not meant to embarrass anybody, but I'm going to say Alejandro, she can do, or he. Wait, sorry. Wait. Sorry. Where are we? Hold on, just pausing for a second here. Wait, where did? Oh my God! Wait, now I feel terrible. Did we actually lose Alejandro? Oh my God. Now I'm like totally panicked. I think we just lost. I hope we didn't lose someone because they put in something that seemed a little wrong. Because I'm literally saying they can get extra point. Well, oh no. Oh, there's all. Oh no, sorry. There, you're here. You're okay. Right. Sorry. All right. I love your A. But okay. Thank you. And thank you for saying that. So he just got like 85,000 million points. Definitely, and I'm saying this, I'm not saying this to be sarcastic, and I'm not saying this to embarrass you, but totally, even if that was just like a little typo or whatever, so what? You went public, you were willing to, you spiced up the conversation, You should totally submit that 5, even if it was a typo. And believe me, I know, whatever, just submit it. Also, I think I've pointed this out before. Also, his avatar, same thing with Tobias, with Emily, with Ashley. Like, there's a portal just for putting in, those. I never pronounced that word right, but avatar. How do you say that? Bitmoji, whatever. Like, you could submit those also, just because it's like a way. It just helps the class. Anything that helps us, like, not die of boredom for an hour and 15 minutes, right? Or not feel like space aliens for an hour is good, and it helps us all get smarter. So Alejandro could definitely submit all that. I'm just saying. Oh, and easier. Okay, cool. Wait, I don't know what those emojis. I mean, I know that. Okay, well, he should submit those too. Okay. And you'll see if you ever text me. Can I say this too? This caused confusion last semester. I don't have Snapchat, just for anybody. I don't have Snapchat. I'm too old for that or too something for that. I don't even have Facebook or Twitter. I just literally don't. I don't. But I do have Bitmoji on my phone. I'm just admitting that right now. So if you ever text me, I'm probably I am that cheesy. I mean, I'm 51 years old. My son is mortified that he's so embarrassed, but I am that cheesy. But if you ever get a Bitmoji from me, because I think they're great, it doesn't mean I have Snapchat. Like, apparently that caused like great scandal in the class for a semester last. I didn't realize that anyway, whatever. Okay, so we're going, okay, cool. Okay, thank you. She should totally submit that for points. Okay, so we're going back to the homework. So back to question 2, and I know I am watching the clock. We have 10 minutes. I'm totally aware of that. But if I ever do go over, you could tell me. Okay, back to question 2 now. So we're going back to question 2. I'm going to start using the symbols. Again, this is going to be a way that we're going to start speeding up. I promise it will speed up because we're going to start writing less and less English and more equations. So back to question 2. I'm now doing step 4, right? I'm doing step 4, PAW, practical, particular application and work. So now in step 4, we're going to take the concept of displacement, x minus x naught, we're going to actually apply it to the fact of this problem. So I'm writing out and I'm dragging it out. Of course, I'm dragging it out. I would like you to do that too. I'm writing x equals -5 feet. Right, like the final position where the thing ends up is -5 feet. The initial position where it started was +4 feet. So I wrote that out. So then I wrote x minus x naught equals -5 minus 4, right? And that all is step 4. That's what you might consider doing the work. Like, that's the plugging and chugging part, right? That's where I'm plugging in. Even that, I know for this question, many of you skipped all this and just saw the answer and wrote it down. I get it. And that just is how smart you are. So I'm saying write this out. It's not an insult to you. It's not that it's that you should give yourself credit for seeing how smart you are, for seeing all the steps that your brain did so quickly that you didn't even think of them as steps. Write them down, because that is a movie of steps that's now in your mind that you will run the first time you ever get to a problem that you don't know what to do. Okay, and it will happen. When you get to a problem that you don't know what to do, what I want to encourage, and I will move on, but I want to say this step 4, where you like plug in and do the work, this part where you do the work, this is the part that most students think is what we mean when we say show your work. They think we mean show this step, and maybe many professors do. But this is why when you get to hard problems, people will say, I don't even know what to do, or we'll say, well, show your work, show your thought process so far. It's okay if you don't see the answer yet, show your thought process. And then they'll say, but I don't even have a thought process yet. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know where to start. But the reason is they're picturing plugging and chugging, and they don't know what to plug in. So they think, I don't even know what to do because I don't even know what to plug in. But I'm telling you, 3 things happen before you even plug in. That's why people don't know what to do. You got to do those first 3 steps before you even know how to do the work. So if those 3 steps seem really stupid to everybody right now and a waste, I'm promising you they seem that way because you are seeing them in your mind now. When they're really useful is when you don't see them in your mind. And then, anyway, you get it. So that was step 4. And then finally, step 5 is the actual final answer written in a complete form, a complete thought, i.e. written as an equation. The final answer is an equation. I'm not saying it's a formula. I'm not saying it's an equation you're going to memorize for your next set of classes. I'm saying it's a result. It's not a triple equal sign. It's not a takeaway equation, but it is an equation. You're saying the displacement in this case is equal to -9 feet. It's a complete thought. The original question is, what's the displacement? The final answer is, the displacement is -9 feet. So you write it as a complete thought, and it's a scientific thought, so you include units, and then you circle it to make it clear to me that you know this is the answer. Like that, could you highlight it? Sure. Could you underline it? Sure. Could you box it? Make it a different color? Sure. Just do something to make it clear to me that you know that's not just information, that's the conclusion. So you had an opening question, you had a final answer. This is now a mini piece of physics work. It might not be fascinating, it might not be groundbreaking, but it is a self-contained little physics proof that you could actually put on a poster in a conference. Like, right, you went from a research question to a finding, no matter how small it might be. You need to show me those 5 steps whenever you do anything. Except for homework 3, train of thought, you don't have to do it there. But anywhere else you have to do it. And again, I'm telling you, it won't be an excuse for all things except for a train of thought. You might say this is a lot of freaking work to do for simple questions, and I apologize if that's true. But you can't say really, well, that it doesn't apply. Like, I can't do a step 3 for this type of question. It always applies. It's just maybe more work than you think you want to put in. But anyway, that's the final answer for question 5. Also notice that's the final answer for question 2. That is step 5, the final answer circled. One other thing about this method, especially for when things get hard, if you notice, every next step just followed naturally from the step before it. Like, by the time I got to step 5, I'm basically just reiterating and circling what already was resulting from step 4. And in order to do step 4, I was just writing down the words that already came out in step 3. The whole idea of this is it's supposed to guide you from not knowing something to knowing something. This step process is what you do when you think you don't know what to do. This is what you do when you don't know what to do. The only way to know how to do this when you don't know how to do something is to first learn how to do it when you know what to do, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's question 2, all the steps. Okay, now we have 5 minutes. We're going to get to question 3, and then we'll probably call it for the day. Again, it'll go faster in the future. I apologize, but I think you all are with me, and that's great. Oh, I'm just changing the view again. Oh, no, sorry. Whoop, hello. Okay, so now we're at question 3. So question 3. Oh, and now, by the way, I'm going to get a little bit faster. So I'm not going to write in the margin anymore. You certainly can. I'm going to include all my steps, but I'm not labeling them as steps. Again, you don't have to either. I'm just giving you a model of what you do on the homework if you're handing it to me. So, question 3. First, I have to do a diagram and fact pattern. So I just wrote see diagram above, like I think Jada or somebody asked before. I just write see diagram above. Okay, so that was step 1. Step 2, WIQ. What's the question? So I wrote the question. From t equals 0 to t equals 8 seconds, average speed equals. Okay, so now we're back to speed. Like there we were doing displacement. Now we're back at speed. This is more of an English concept. I don't really have like notation. You'll see why in a couple minutes or in a day. Why we don't really have symbols for this, so I'm keeping it in English now. The question is, what's the average speed? So go to the next page. And average, so now I go to step 3. General definitions and principles. Average speed is defined to be total distance over total time. That's what it is in general. So that's my step 3. So now step 4. So I wrote here. Usually when I write, or when someone writes here, they mean in this particular situation. Like the triple equal sign meant in general. Then here means now in this particular situation. So you could tell I'm now at step 4, particular application and work. Well, the total distance here, double equal sign, is 21 feet, right? Double equal sign. The total distance in this situation is 21 feet. How do I know? From question 1 above, because we already answered it. And then the total time is 8 seconds from the givens above. Okay, so here, I'm still in step 4 now. Total distance over time, total time equals 21 feet over 8 seconds. That's all step 4. So step 5, I circle my final answer. Average speed equals 21/8 feet per second, and that's perfectly acceptable. You could leave it that way. These numbers are clunky. You can leave the answer as clunky. Or if you don't like that, you can convert it to a decimal. 2.625 feet per second. That's my final answer. That is the final answer. We have 2 minutes. We're not going to do any more questions, but just one last sidebar about, just notice. Distance, so try to copy this down quickly if you can. Again, remember, please, I think you should be taking notes on all of this in your way. But also remember the PDF of these notes will be dropped into Google Classroom when we're done, as will the video of the class. But okay, so just notice in the 1.5 minutes we have left, and please stay if you have any questions. I will stay if you have any. But notice we have concepts like quantities, measurements like distance and average speed. Those are raw, absolute value, pure magnitudes, just sizes. Those are known as scalar quantities. As opposed to their counterparts, displacement and average velocity, those are magnitudes and directions. They're called vector quantities. A vector quantity or a vector measurement is a richer, more full, comprehensive notion than a scalar quantity. Scalar is pure magnitude, pure size. And vector is magnitude and direction. In one-dimensional space, direction is designated by pluses and minus signs. So vector quantities can be positive or negative. Displacement and average velocity can be positive or negative, whereas distance and average speed can only be positive. Last thing, just if you want to know, for question 4, the next question, I'm not going to do it now, we're about to end, but if you, oh, yes, great. Have a good day, Abdel. Have a great day. The answer to the next question is -9/8 feet per second, if you just want to check your work or whatever, or it's -1.125 feet per second. But that's it. I'm done. Thank you very much. Have a great day, Abdel. Have a great day, Emily. Have a great day, Stephen. Bye, Osmail. Bye, everybody. But I'm staying if there's any questions. But bye. Have a great day. Yes, have a good rest of the week. Thank you. Have a great day, Tobias. Have a great day. Jose, have a great day. Kay, have a good day. Gianna, I guess she's gone. Right, sorry. Have a good day, Kay. Oh, yes, absolutely. Hang on one second, please. Yes, private chat person. Hang on one second. And I'm going to turn off the recording. Just hold on one second. Who else? Okay. And just hang on one second. And Brianna, are you there? You've been hang on. I totally want to talk to you. But Brianna, oh, have a great day, Brianna. Okay, awesome. Okay, hold on. Okay, all right. So now, great. I'm glad you're here, Ruben. Let me turn off the recording for one thing. Hold on a second.